Welcome back, friends. Today we're diving into the first fruit of the Spirit, love. And it's fun to talk about love. When I was preparing for this, thinking about love, I kept thinking about all these different songs that talk about love. Like love is everywhere. I dare you to try tomorrow listening to the radio or your playlist or anything, TV shows, something that doesn't mention love at least one time. It gets mentioned everywhere. Love is so important. It's the foundation of everything. So it's fun that we're talking about it. Obviously life application discussion about love, but also fitness. Love can be a part of fitness. I love going to the gym. I love what it produces. I love the feeling I have while I'm there. There's so many parts of love there. So love goes, I think we should also mention love goes beyond just emotions. Like I just mentioned, it goes beyond convenience. It goes beyond what we think we can give. It goes a lot deeper than that. Jesus is love. There's a spiritual part to that that's really worth talking about. If you've ever struggled with loving difficult people or even loving yourself, you're going to want to stick around for this. And I'm telling you, we've all struggled with both, right? If we're being honest. So Galatians 5:22 starts with love for a reason. Love's the foundation of everything. And there's so much scriptural evidence to that. One of them is in John 13:34 through 35. Um, Jesus said this in John, a new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. It's so repetitive. It's really driving that home that you have to love one another. And it's letting you know that if you do this, everyone will know you're my disciple. So you're known for love and known that you belong to Jesus whenever you're loving others. So it's very important, obviously. Um, this type of love that I'm talking about, that I just read from John, isn't about feelings. Okay. It's based on action. And it brings up an interesting question I asked my son. We were talking about love, and I said, does love mean you have to like? And we really had to talk about that. So I want to talk to you guys about that. I want you to think about that. When we are commanded to love someone, do we have to like them? I want you to think about that and put in the comments what you think. I'm curious about that. Because I had a great discussion with my son about it with my 13-year-old. But the love that we're talking about it's based on action, not feeling. Okay. And that's why I'm questioning you. Do you have to like someone to love them? All right. But this kind of love we're talking about is a giving kind of love. It's a forgiving kind of love. It's a serving kind of love, even whenever it's hard for us to do so. I have so many examples of that I can give you. So let's talk about love. Love, love, love. It's everywhere in the Bible. Um, love is the greatest commandment. Okay. Jesus said the two greatest commandments are love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. So he tells us exactly how we're supposed to love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's in Matthew 22:37 through 39. Love is the foundation of our faith and obedience. And I'm going to be the first to tell you, it is hard sometimes to love our neighbor as ourselves, especially when sometimes we don't love ourselves very much, right? But it's interesting to have that on our radar. It's a command to do that. The two greatest commandments. Love is proof of being a disciple. We kind of talked about that already. Jesus told his followers in John 13:35, that's how people will know that you're my disciples if you love one another. Our love for others is a visible evidence of our relationship with Christ. Love fulfills the law. In Romans 13:10, Paul tells us that love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. So it's letting us know that when we act in love, we naturally keep God's commandments. Love is selfless and sacrificial, and we all know that. We all know that. There's people in our lives that we love that, we do love with a sacrificial love. We would do anything for them, right? Especially our children. The Bible's definition of love in 1 Corinthians 13 shows It's not just a feeling, but it's an action. It's not something we just feel. It's something we take action on, okay? It's patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. And John reminds us this is how we know what love is, that Jesus Christ laid his life down for us in 1 John 3:16. Love is the greatest virtue. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 13:13. 1 Corinthians 13 is all about love. I used to have it on my wall in our old home because I wanted reminded of love. What is love? Because it can be tricky, right? But he said, and now these three things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love, greater than faith and hope. So I found that very interesting. Out of everything we pursue in our Christian walk, love is supreme. Love is the highest thing. So it's important that we talk about love first. It is so important to love. And I think it's great to talk about these things because we kind of know that already, right? We know that. But when we talk about it, we bring a new awareness to it. And that's what I'm challenging you to do, is bring an awareness to love this week. You know, in fitness, when we work on goals, it's nice to do one small thing at a time. You keep mastering little things, okay? And pretty soon you have a lot mastered, okay? Well, it's like that with the fruits of the Spirit, okay? So we talk about love, and we're going to really hone in on love right now. And then we build on love, and we move to the next one, joy, and then peace, and then patience. And pretty soon we're like, well, look at that. We were carrying around all the fruits of the Spirit, and our lives will just naturally be better. Both, you know, our personal lives, our fitness lives, everything. People around us will notice. But we have to start with love. So love is our focus right now. And I want you to really bring an awareness to that, you know, this week or for the next couple of days or for however long you choose to do that. Love should be just on your mind. Like, let's really, really hone in on love right now. So let's talk about love as it pertains to fitness, because I am a fitness coach and that's my jam. um, so in Matthew 22:37 through 39, um, the application I found in there when I was reading about love is when you love God first, even your training can become worship. And I talk about that in my book. If you guys haven't read Fortify, grab it on Amazon. Fortify talks about that, how my training did become worship. Like, that was my time with the Lord. And because I was denying my flesh comfort, spiritually I was so much more aware and I was able to grow. Like, that's when God talked to me. That's when he met me at the gym. So loving God first brings that training into that scenario of worship, and it changes training. That's why people sometimes think I'm crazy, because I love to go to the gym. I don't struggle with motivation to go to the gym, well, because I love it. But it's more than about the gym. It's more than about working on my personal goals. It's my time with the Lord. So the other part of that is, when we talk about love, we talk about loving our neighbor. Do you have friends at the gym? There's people that go to the gym with you. I used to try to avoid people at the gym because I was there for my time with God. Then I started to recognize that these are my neighbors. These are the people, even though I don't talk to them, I see them more than most people in my life. I spend time in the same environment as them, even though I'm not talking to them. And it opened my eyes to the fact that, you know, these are people that are my neighbors. Okay. And I should probably be loving them. And so I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I'm doing a lot better about that, about loving the people at the gym, cheering them on, not comparing myself to anyone, but just loving them where they're at on their journey. If I admire a girl who's further along in her journey fitness wise than I am, I just admire her and excited for her and love her. But love will keep your heart in the right place, focused on Christ and not your ego. And so love is so important in like a gym scenario, just for all of those things. So then we go back to this one I wrote down was important to me personally. Love is proof of being a disciple. I want people to know that I am someone, like, my character is that of someone who has Christ in them. Like, I want other people to feel Christ in me. I'm an ambassador for Christ. So if I'm encouraging people, celebrating them, offering grace, commending their progress, just making them feel seen and heard and loved, then I am showing proof of being a disciple, because what they're seeing, the goodness of that is not me. It's Christ in me. Okay. So I'm showing them Christ through my behavior. And I think that's important. Um, we talked briefly about how love fulfills the law. When we talk about the law, that led my thought process to a lot of people get really legalistic about food, and especially in a dieting phase where we're like, we make our own little rules in our head about food, right? And we all do it. Or cardio or perfect plans. Or a great example would be today. I've been so busy today, I have not had time to get my steps in. I started to feel the type of way about that a little bit ago, and then I was like, well, no, I need to understand that I'm making a rule now, and I need to back off of that a little bit because it was creating strife in my heart. And as soon as I was able to bring peace into that through love and saying, I'm going to, not be legalistic about this, I felt so much better. And I think a lot of us need that release where we're not being so legalistic about things. Um, and asking, does this choice honor God and love others? I was selfishly wanting to get my steps in today, but doing that would have meant I couldn't make you this video. And am I honoring God and loving others when I'm choosing to walk around my neighborhood to get my steps in? And then for what? So I could check the box and feel good about myself? That doesn't move anyone forward, but being here with you does. And so, not don't glorify me. Listen, that was the Lord helping me make that choice. I don't make those good choices on my own. I'd have been already walking. I'd have been like, forget you guys. I'd been out walking. But love brought me to you today, and that's Christ's love, not my love. He loves through me. Um, so on that same note, love is selfless and sacrificial, and real love sacrifices comfort for growth. And that comes in a lot of ways, guys. Comfort for growth means I do this every morning. Okay. I'm being so transparent with you guys. So I see my Bible sitting on the table, and I'm like, oh, I could study the word this morning just for a little bit, but I'm like, oh, I'd rather play this game on my phone. Sometimes I make the right choice and sometimes I don't. But that's that situation of, did I love God enough to, and again, I don't want to measure it. I don't want to say we're not good enough and we have to love enough, but on my own, my spirit was weak and I did not make the choice to move forward with reading scripture. Instead, I played a silly game on my phone. So, we win some and we lose some, but that's that selfless and sacrificialness that we can personally apply to our life. um, the fitness application is quick fixes, things like that. If you're looking for a quick fix, you're not looking at the discipline, the patience, those fruits of the spirit. um, Love is the greatest virtue. We talked about that. At the end of the day, it's not trophies, titles, PRs. It's not an IFBB pro card that matters. None of that matters. None of that matters. I'm so happy that I have an IFBB Pro card, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The way I love matters. The way I love you, the way I love Christ, the way I express love to people, that matters. And I'm constantly needing to put that into perspective. It is the greatest, it's the greatest virtue. So that's one that I'm constantly working on. And maybe that sparked an interest in you, and you went, oh gosh, maybe I should work on that too. Honoring our body as God's temple, that's love as a great virtue. Um, so love isn't just a spiritual fruit. Okay. I know we're talking about the fruits of the spirit. Love is the first one, but it is the heartbeat of everything that we do. It is right at the center of everything that we do. When love guides your fitness journey, you won't just build muscle, you'll build a legacy that points people to Christ. And that is my personal mission. And I was so excited to write that down on paper and look at it, because I'm like, that's my mission. That's what I want to do. And I hope you do too. Let's make sure I didn't forget anything I wanted to say. What else I wanted to tell you? People are always like, what's your why? When you get in a fitness journey, they're like, what's your why? Your why has to be strong enough than your excuses. Have you heard that? Well, today, as I was thinking about this, and I briefly wrote this down, love gives us the why. What if we took all our whys and threw them out the window and said, let's start over with love? Let love be our why. What would that look like for you? When I say that, what thoughts come into your mind? Really think about that. What love could be your why behind the discipline, the sacrifice, and the growth on your fitness journey? That's a great thing to think about. Write it down and just think about it. Share in the comments. If something was, a revelation to you, maybe you want to keep it private, you don't want to share it, email it to me. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you come up with. This is the hard part about making these videos. I want to be with you. I want to sit with you at my dining room table and talk about these things. So don't be afraid to message me and talk. Like, this is what I'm here for. I love you and I want to hear your heart too. You're hearing mine. I want to hear yours too. And I want to help you along your journey. So let me ask you this as we close. Thinking about love, how is God calling you to show love this week? I'm going to say a few things that might spark thoughts in your mind, but I really want you to go seek God yourself and say, what is it that you want me to do to show love this week? Okay. But it could be something like forgiving someone. That's typical for everybody. Forgiveness is powerful. One of my next books is going to be about that, about forgiveness, because it is so powerful and so worthwhile. It's not easy though. Maybe you need to encourage a stranger. I love to play a little game where I go like to Walmart and I just smile at everybody because I don't know what their day's like. And if I can just give them one happy smile, that's wonderful. And I make it warm and genuine. I hate smiling so big because my wrinkles get so bad, but it's worth it. It's worth it for them. So maybe you're just going to love some strangers, encourage them. Maybe give yourself grace. Maybe that's the way you love this week. Maybe you have had a hard time sticking to your goals and you've been really beating yourself up mentally about it. Maybe you stop doing that and instead you love yourself. Flip it. Flip it. How can you love yourself through that instead of beating yourself up? So drop your things in the comments that you want to talk about regarding love. Anything you want to share with me, anything. I'm here for all of it. And don't forget, this is just the beginning. This was just the first one. Next time, we're going to dig into the second fruit of the Spirit, joy. And I have so much to say about joy because I'm full of it. I love joy. I love people who have joy. It's something fun to talk about, but it's deeper than just happiness, way deeper than just happiness. You can have joy when you're unhappy. Fun fact. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I love it too, guys. Listen, to be honest, I'm probably the worst YouTuber because I'm so authentic. I don't script anything. I just tell you what's in my heart. When you guys subscribe, I get a little notification. And let me tell you, talk about joy. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Yes, I can't wait to get to know this person. I have a new friend. They want to hear what I have to say, which blows my mind because I'm just Lacey Green. But I love it. So if you hit the subscribe button, you're going to bring me instant joy. Instant joy. When you do subscribe, I'm telling you the truth. I literally get so happy and I thank God for you. So subscribe. um, Thanks for spending this time with me. I love you. I can't wait to see you next time when we talk about joy. Share all your stuff in the comments about love.